strings to pull us away. Truth is the price we pay. Hear the ancient battle cry in the heartlands under sky. We defend what's pure and right. Truth's a beacon in the night. Raise the banner high, where shadows never lie. We're the Watchman news, we refuse to compromise. Raise the banner high, where shadows never lie. We're the Watchman news, we refuse to compromise. We refuse to compromise.
Good evening. Hope everyone is doing well. Welcome back to the Watchman News, where, hang on, where we bring you the news with a side of humor because, let's face it, without a laugh, these days could drive you to start your own chip factory just to get rich or go mad, whichever comes first. Tonight, we're diving into a silicon saga that's more twisted than a microchip circuit board. Here's the scoop. The U.S. has decided to investigate China's production of what they call legacy chips. Now, if you're thinking, what, like potato chips from the 80s, you're not alone, but no. We're talking about semiconductors here. So the big brains in Washington, led by the Trade Representative Catherine Tai, are claiming that China's not just playing the game, they're rigging it. They say Beijing is setting up shop like it's Black Friday, but instead of discounts, they're aiming for market domination. Now, I don't know about you, but setting market share targets sounds like something out of a Silicon Valley sitcom where everyone's trying to one-up each other at the office lunch table. Here's the kicker. These are not your cutting-edge, make your smartphone cry chips. Oh no, we're talking about the legacy ones. You know, the ones that keep your car running, your dishwasher humming, and your pacemaker pacing. These chips are the grandpas of technology, still working hard while the youngins are out there trying to mine Bitcoin. And what's China's defense? They're like, hey, we're just trying to be self-sufficient here. But Tai's all like, not on my watch. She says these practices are not just a minor annoyance, they're a detrimental impact on the U.S. economy. I mean, who knew that the humble chip could be the next big geopolitical pawn? Now, this investigation is under something called Section 301 of the Trade Act of 1974. Sounds like a plot from a spy movie, doesn't it? And guess who's going to have to deal with this mess? None other than Donald Trump, who's coming back for round two. He's already got his tariff playbook out, ready to slap some more taxes on Chinese imports like he's playing Monopoly with real-world consequences. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo, something like that, adds her 2 cents, saying that 2/3 of U.S. products have these Chinese chips in them. And get this, half of the companies don't even know where their chips come from. It's like we're all playing Guess Who with our electronics. It is you, Mr. Made in China. No, you must be Mr. Taiwan then. Raimondo calls this fairly alarming, which in government speak means, holy cow, we've got a situation here. And China plans to take over the legacy chip market. She says it's discouraging investment, which is like telling a kid they can't have candy at the checkout counter. It's just not fair. Now, both nations have been in a tech tug-of-war, and the U.S. keeps tightening the screws on exports, saying it's all for national security. But China's response? You're bending the rules more than a rubber band in a middle school classroom. Beijing calls these moves counter to global market norms, which is a fancy way of saying you're not playing fair. So what does this mean for you, the average Joe or Jane? Well, if tariffs go up, your gadgets might cost more, or we might see a resurgence in American-made chips. Picture this. Your next toaster could be the product of Made in the USA, and you can proudly tell your friends that your breakfast is now powered by patriotism. But let's be real here. This whole saga sounds like an episode of The Great Chip Race. Will the U.S. keep up, or will China's chips be on the ones on everyone's plate? Stay tuned, because this could get more exciting than watching paint dry, or should I say silicon solidify. Yeah, not such a good monologue tonight, and I didn't help it out any. But anyway, this is kind of a serious issue. And, you know, one of the reasons why I do what I do is because I've got the ability to remember things, for one, and I have been covering this now for over a decade. I've been covering this stuff. I've got a good memory, and I got a good hold of things going on. I can step back, I can look at the big picture, I can understand what the situation is. And so, the long and the short, I mean, I've got an article up. That was what the monologue was based on, was this article right here. I just plugged it in the Grok and told it to give me something funny for a monologue. And to be real honest, I don't need that damn article, because that article's not really going to tell you the real skinny about what's going on with this. So, recently, the United States started putting a bunch of restrictions and stuff like that on exporting chips to China. A lot of these chips are the latest technologies, like that are used in AI and other stuff, right? Now, mind you, we don't make a lot of these chips. We do make some, but not a lot. A lot of the chips come from Taiwan. So it's a really interesting situation here that's going on. So China does provide a lot of the legacy chips. So does Taiwan. And these are chips that are common in our everyday devices. They are in everything from, like the monologue said, dishwashers and all of that. And it's even in some of our military equipment, in cars, all kinds of stuff. So this is stuff that is needed. Yes, there are chips that are a lot more technological and can do a lot more. However, in many cases, you don't need a chip that has so much power, so much capability when it comes to a lot of these common everyday devices. So this could most certainly get very interesting. Now, will it encourage microchip production in the United States? I hope so. But I've been watching a lot of different industries that we are hurting in. And medical, for one, pharmaceutical, let me correct that, pharmaceutical. We don't make hardly any medications here. And we haven't done anything to fix that. During a COVID epidemic, we learned just how little we do make here and how quickly we can run into shortages. Nobody's ever done anything to fix that. So do I think that we're going to do something to fix this chip problem? No, I don't. I don't understand all the details of it. I wished I did. I don't know how complicated. I do know that the machinery to make these chips are very involved, very complicated machines. I don't know why we're not making them here. I mean, again, we make some, but the large majority, no. We import them from either China or Taiwan. There's a lot of chips that actually Taiwan imports or exports to China, and then China exports them to us. So go figure on that. That is one of the biggest reasons why we are involved in a geopolitical matchup with China over Taiwan. It comes down to the chips. I'm going to be honest, that's really all the United States cares about as far as Taiwan is concerned, is their ability to produce microchips and other semiconductors, not just microchips. Obviously, they're a part of our everyday lives. Almost every single device that we put our hands on or look at throughout the day has semiconductors in it. Been that way for a long time. So this could absolutely get interesting. Again, I don't know where it's going to lead. I don't know if we're actually going to get off our asses in the United States and start producing them. That would be nice. Although, folks need to understand that the cost of things are going to go up. That's the way it works. And I think we're looking at that anyway. I wish, even if the cost of our, toys or whatever you want to call them, our devices and stuff, I would accept the cost of those going up if we can bring the damn price of the food down. The food is just absolutely insane, and it's going up again. I just looked today. We're going to be getting ready to do shopping here again, grocery shopping before long. And I thought, I'm going to see what chicken and eggs and stuff are doing because of all that nonsense going on with bird flu. Holy cow. It is insane. And I didn't just stop at chicken and eggs. I looked at hamburger. It's up from last month. Spaghetti sauce. It's up from last month. Frickin' spaghetti noodles is up a little bit from last month. Almost every single thing that we get is up from last month. And it's been like this. It's month after month. It's been like this. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is absolutely craziness. I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time on this whole microchip problem. Semiconductor, I should say, problem. Because it is indeed a big problem. We'll figure that out more in the future on a personal level, I'm sure. But I wanted to discuss another issue that's going on. Not just here, but other places as well. And it seems like we're reaching a point pretty rapidly to where somebody's going to have to act. Somebody's going to have to do something. Now, I know there's a lot of promises when Trump takes office. I do believe, especially if I believe his name's Tom Homan, especially if he's actually, confirmed, put in charge, and does what he claims he's going to do, we're probably going to see a lot of stuff when that starts, to be quite honest. I don't think that's going to go so clean and easy. If day one, Trump does whatever he needs to do to say, okay, deport the illegals, man, I don't know how that's going to work out. For one, you've got a lot of individuals in government, whether that be federal, state, county, local, that aren't hip with Trump's ideals on fixing this immigration issue. I don't know how that's going to shake out. Now, Mr. Homan has put out a clear and direct warning to anybody that interferes with what they're trying to do. More power to Mr. Homan on that. We'll see how that shakes out. But then on another level, what about the individuals themselves? I don't think that, what's the name, Trinidad or whatever, that Venezuelan gang, just like MS-13, I don't think either one of them are going to go easily. So, who knows? Who knows on that? But I wanted to talk about something that's becoming a growing epidemic involving immigrants. Not always illegal, but oftentimes so. Let me have a sip of coffee. Might be a little bit of a quick show tonight. I've got 3 articles to cover for you, all to do with problems with, you guessed it, immigration, or immigrants. And they're serious ones. They're no joke. The last one, I can't confirm anything. All I can do is read you the story along with the name, and we can put 2 and 2 together, right? It's insane. And it's a local story, so the first 2 I guarantee you've already heard about. This last one, I bet you haven't. So first off, you've heard about the incident in Germany. The Christmas what was it that they had called it? Market. I'll go ahead and read the first bit here. I know you've already heard about it. German authorities said they received tip-offs last year about the suspect in a car attack at a Christmas market in Magdeburg, as more details emerged on Sunday about the 5 people killed. Authorities have identified the suspect as a Saudi doctor who arrived in Germany in 2006 and have received permanent residency. Police haven't publicly named the suspect, although others have, in line with privacy rules, but some German news outlets have identified him as Talib A. and reported that he was a specialist, get this, in psychiatry and psychotherapy. Crazy. Authorities say he does not fit the usual profile of perpetrators of extremist attacks. The man described himself as an ex-Muslim who was highly critical of Islam and in many posts on social media expressed support for the far-right anti-immigrant Alternative for Germany, or the AfD party. That is what they're trying to spin this, and I really do believe this is being spun. I agree with you, Kevin, on whoever controls the food controls the population. You got it. And, I don't know, man. I hope January 20th gets here, and I hope there's no issues leading up to that, and I hope something's done, man, because I don't know how people can do it. I don't know how people can do it. This situation here, here it says, in a dispute over the recognition of examination results, he threatened members of the State Medical Association with an act that would attract international attention, triggering an investigation and a search of his home. The DPA news agency reported, citing Pegel. No evidence was found of real preparations for an attack, but a court found him guilty in 2013 of threatening an attack. Okay? This is nuts. This was followed by other threats he made, Pegel said. This, I don't believe, was the only time. This guy was warned, I think it was, or Germany, was warned, I believe it was 3 times about this guy. 3 times. That's insane. Absolutely nuts. So, I think this whole anti-Muslim thing and all that, I'm going to be honest with you, I think it's false. The reason that he gave when going to Germany, and he sought asylum in Germany, and the reason why that he claimed was essentially religious persecution. Now, apparently, this guy was wanted for rape and other things in Saudi Arabia, where he came from. And it appears like he was trying to escape that stuff. So I think that he went to Germany, he sought asylum, told them that he was atheist, he was anti-Muslim and all that. He's trying to escape religious persecution in order to get into Germany, when he was actually trying to escape charges from Saudi Arabia. I don't know. I have looked at the story. I've read article after article on this story. And they're whitewashing it so bad that there is absolutely no clear motive. And I think when it comes down to it, it was an Islamist motive. I can't say that for certain, but nothing else fits. Why would you just mow down a bunch of people at a Christmas market? That just makes no sense. There aren't any other reasons that are being given. Nothing. Again, it seems like they're whitewashing the whole story. So, I don't know, but all the countries need to do something about this immigration issue. Some of the cases, it can even be legal immigration, but in a lot of cases, we know that it's not. You've also very likely heard of this story. It's a little more recent than the Germany story. Woman was set on fire in a subway train in New York City. Dude just nonchalantly just walked right up and lit her on fire. And if that isn't disgusting enough, he went and sat down on a bench in the subway to watch her burn. Just sat there and watched her burn. Let me read this article here. New York City police have arrested a man on murder and arson charges and the death of a woman who was set on fire inside a subway train early Sunday morning. Sebastian Zepeda, 33, was arrested Monday after being taken into custody the previous day. It is unclear if Zepeda has an attorney and when he would be arraigned. Immigration officials say that Zepeda, who is from Guatemala, had been deported before and didn't even have permission to be in the U.S. Police said surveillance video showed a man calmly approach the woman who is yet to be identified aboard a stationary F train at the Coney Island Stillwell Avenue station in Brooklyn and then set her on fire. Her clothing became fully engulfed in a matter of seconds, said New York City Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch, describing the case as one of the most depraved crimes one person could possibly commit against another human being. The man then sat on a nearby bench outside the train car and watched as officers and the transit workers extinguished the flames. So, he was previously deported in 2018. High school kids are the ones that spotted him on the subway. And they notified police. The police showed up. And I believe it was a different train that they had spotted him on. I guess he switched or whatnot. But they got him. They did get the guy. But again, why? Why? And this guy isn't supposed to even be here. I wonder how he was able to get into this country. The first time that he was deported was when Trump was at the helm. I guess he just came right through wide open borders. I don't know, but it is absolutely mind-blowing what is going on. Like I said, it's probably going to be a pretty quick show tonight. I've got one more article to cover, and I am looking forward to laying down and going to bed, to be quite honest. Not feeling so hot. This here happened locally. Now, I cannot tell you that this is an illegal immigrant. I can't tell you that. I can read you the article. That's the best I can do. Because I don't know anything beyond that. Charges filed against teen accused of injuring multiple people in Ted Drew's parking lot. Ted Drew's is an ice cream shop in St. Louis. Very, very well known. A suspect had been charged after multiple people were struck and injured by a car in the parking lot of Ted Drew's on Sunday. In a statement, St. Louis Alderman Tom Oldenburg said, "Tragedy hangs especially heavy during the holiday season, and my heart goes out to all those affected by the accident last evening. I hope that as we move forward with the public safety improvements already planned for the new year, we can continue the partnership with Ted Drew's and the City of St. Louis to ensure our residents can safely and confidently support this busy and iconic St. Louis institution." Again, very popular ice cream shop. Monday morning, the St. Louis Circuit Attorney's Office charged Rasul Al-Janabi with 5 counts of leaving the scene of an accident causing physical injury. According to charging documents, the 19-year-old drove past a barricade that had blocked off the entrance to Ted Drew's and hit at least 5 people with his car. He then reportedly backed up the vehicle, injuring another person, which actually was a cop, who tried to stop him from leaving. Al-Janabi drove off without leaving any of his personal or insurance information. He was arrested when he returned to the scene on Sunday, according to St. Louis police spokesperson Mitch McCoy. It is by the grace of God nobody was killed and there were not more injuries, McCoy said. The morning after the incident, Ted Drew's posted on social media, "Our hearts go out to those who were injured in the incident that occurred last night, as well as their families. We look forward to the safety improvements to Chippewa, which the city plans to begin next month. Huge thank you to the customers who stepped up to help and the first responders on the scene. Their quick actions prevented this sad incident from becoming much worse." The incident happened just after 8 p.m. at Ted Drew's at 6726 Chippewa in South St. Louis City. According to the fire department, 6 people were injured, 1 person is in critical condition, 3 are in serious condition, and 2 were taken to the hospital for precautionary reasons. Now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty here. Police said the victims ranged from 12 to 82 years old. Police said all of the victims are expected to be okay. One of the victims was an off-duty police officer with another department. McCoy said that the off-duty police officer went to help clear the scene around the accident when he then ended up on the hood of the car and was hospitalized for a head injury. So again, a guy pulled around the barricade, hit these people, hit, I guess, 6 of them, if I got that right. Hang on. It says multiple people. As the guy tried leaving, as he was backing up to leave, he hits an off-duty police officer. That is absolutely insane. Police on scene told First Alert 4 that the vehicle without a license plate turned left into Ted Drew's parking lot and hit a group of people. The car then reversed back out onto Chippewa Street and left the scene. On Monday, police said Al-Janabi told investigators he was trying to avoid another car on the road and overcorrected, driving into a barricade and hitting those people. Well, hopefully there's some security camera footage that can either be confirmed or denied. I hope. They claim, and this is a quote, "He got scared, he went home, he told his family what happened, and they returned him to the scene," McCoy said. "We can confirm there was another family," I think it's supposed to say another family member, "in the car as a passenger at the time of the crash, and confirmed what happened and better helped us understand the circumstances of the crash." Wait a minute. Stop. Didn't they just say that the car didn't have license plates on it? Can we get an explanation for that? And then I think that as citizens of the United States, we have the right to know whether he is here legally or not. I'm not saying he's here illegally. I can't say that. I don't know. But it would be real damn nice if they would clarify those 2 points. Is he here legally, him and his family? Are they here legally? And not Joe Biden legally or Kamala Harris legally. I mean actual by the law legally. And number 2, what's the story on these license plates? Man. And there's really no need in reading the rest of it because it's not going to tell you any more about any of it. All it's going to do is tell you about the improvements that they plan on making to that area to prevent incidents like this from happening. Okay? But I find, again, it really seems like a story here is being whitewashed. Now, am I saying that this guy necessarily hit these people on purpose? No, I'm not. No, I don't know that. Not even remotely. But an accident happened. And there are some very serious parts of this accident that it would be real nice if they would explain. Why no license plates? And would it possibly have anything to do with whether they're here legally or not? It's crazy stuff. It's crazy stuff. Now again, I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form that this young man purposely did this. I hope he didn't. I hope it was an accident. But if the car had no plates, did the guy have a driver's license? Same here in Illinois, Kevin. Same here in Illinois, brother. In fact, in Illinois, I think there was a push to make them, to get them into law enforcement as well. It's mind-blowing. You can do more easily as an illegal immigrant in the state of Illinois than what you can as a naturally born U.S. citizen. It's mind-blowing. Now, Missouri, I don't know where their laws stand. I do know that St. Louis itself is a liberal haven right now. Obvious by its crime rate. But I have to ask those questions. Why were there no plates on the car? And did it have anything to do with them being here illegal? Did this young man even have a driver's license? These are all questions that I think they should be out front with. I really do. This is a problem. This is a problem that's going to continue to get worse unless something's done. Am I nationalist? I guess. I don't know that I'd quite slap a racist term on it, but whatever. Am I, being prejudiced against people from other nations? No. No. But you knock on the door before you enter. Howdy, Veronica. You knock on the door before you enter. You know what I'm saying? You don't just walk into my door. You couldn't anyway. They're always locked. But you don't just walk in somebody's door. Well, in most cases. There used to be a time, right? There used to be a day to where in some cases, there were some places, yeah, you could just walk into. There were definitely instances to where it was that way. But today, not so much. Not so common today. But as far as the country is concerned, people need to follow the process, and they need to be made to follow the process. It's there for a reason. There's a lot of good reasons it's there. Is that somehow discriminatory or prejudiced? No. Not in any way, shape, or form. The only countries that are allowing people just to freely walk across their border are the same damn countries that are so infected by wokeism that there is no turning back. That's a fact. That is a fact. You can't go to Mexico and just walk. That ain't happening. You can't go to Canada and just walk in. Used to be able to. As a U.S. citizen, you could just cross the border and go into Canada. Not so much anymore. And you certainly can't just go there and live. You have to follow the immigration procedures. And they're a lot more strict about it, even in Canada. But you can't do that in almost every nation on this planet. You can't just walk across the border and, They're there with open arms welcoming you in, making sanctuary cities for you, giving you money, giving you more rights than the citizens have. It's insane. And I think we've got a lot of issues coming our way as a result of what's been going on. Because I do believe that Trump is serious about fixing immigration. I do believe that he's serious about deporting people. I do believe that Tom Homan is very serious about deporting people. I don't think that's going to sit so well. I agree, Kevin. We'd be in the slammer, you know? And I got to think back about that damn movie. And I am not a movie kind of person, but I got to think back about that movie. I'm talking about the Civil War movie. When I initially saw that movie, it's just a movie to me. And I know there are a lot of people that took it for this slant or that slant. I didn't even see such a slant in it. I saw a movie. I watched it because it was a movie. Everybody's got to politicize everything. And then, yes, the movie was a very political type of movie in some senses. But I don't think that it necessarily heavily leaned one direction or the other. I actually thought it was a pretty good damn movie. But to me at that moment in time, it was just entertainment. I didn't foresee something like that happening. Now, here's the real interesting part. It was right on the trailer for the movie that there was a scene where the one funky colored hair guy said, "What kind of American are you?" Now, watching the movie, it was clear he was talking about whether you were from another country or whether or not you were born here. And as I watched that movie, again, I just enjoyed it as entertainment. I didn't really see that we could possibly be in a situation like that. Today I do. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if Trump takes office, he puts in the order to deport him, and Mr. Homan follows through, and everybody follows through, and there's a lot of backlash from individuals, whether it be other individuals that are members of public service, or whether it be the people that they're trying to deport. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I would say it's something that we might want to put on our radar as a possible. Not live in fear over it or anything like that. I don't want to get anywhere near these prepper channels and the nonsense that they do. But it is something that we need to put up in our heads. And again, I've been preaching preparedness now for a long time. But that isn't necessarily for a civil war, nuclear war, an EMP. It's for anything. Tornado, hurricane, earthquake, you name it. A job layoff, you name it. Always good to have. I look at it as insurance. Always good to have that insurance. But that's it. I don't think that you have to have a certain thing to be scared to death of to have enough common sense to prepare. To me, it's common sense. But we need to keep a close eye on this, because I think it might be a problem that we could be looking at. I don't see this going over so well. And there are so many now here in this country, and I mean illegals, that I do think that there's a high probability that they will organize, at least on some level, and try to fight back. Oh, you better believe it, Kevin. Jesus is the biggest assurance. The biggest. Without a doubt. I don't know. I do think we're going to see more and more incidents, though, pop up. Not only here, but abroad as well. And I don't think it's going to turn out real well. Because the people are sick of it. Not just here, but abroad as well. In fact, in other nations, honestly, I think there are people that are a lot more sick of it than even people are here. Sadly, I've read article after article of people being arrested just because they state their opinion about the situation. Not here, but in other countries. They're not even allowed to say, hey, I don't agree with this. I don't like this. They'll get thrown in jail. Because the illegal immigrants are a protected class. It's insane. It is insane. And my opinion, I think the best way to handle it, because we've got to do something, I do think deportation is an important part of the process. I think that people that, even though they were here illegally, I think that if they stayed out of trouble, they didn't do anything wrong, then I think that they can get their name put on a list. But they gotta go home. And over time, as the government can actually work through the applications and the process, and that needs to be fixed too, because that's not functioning well either, and hasn't been for a long time. I know a guy, great guy, and I don't know his current status. I haven't really talked to him in a little while. But he migrated here the correct way, did all the stuff he was supposed to do. And the last I did talk to him, he still hadn't been granted his full citizenship. So he came here, filled out all of his paperwork stuff, did everything like he was supposed to do. And this dude's a stand-up guy. I know at the time he owned 2 businesses. 2. He was a hard worker, busted his ass, did everything he was supposed to do. Very respectable man. And he got married. His wife was one of the lottery winners, not like Powerball, but meaning the immigration lottery. And they got married, and somehow that caused him to have to start his process all over again. I don't know all the details. No idea. So he did. And for whatever reason, at some point, the marriage didn't work out. And do you know they made him restart that process all over again? It was over a decade. He'd been here for over a decade at that time. And was still no closer to having his citizenship than the day he stepped foot in this nation. He's a stand-up guy. Doing everything that's expected of somebody who migrates to here. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But yet millions of people can just walk across the border. It's insane. So to me, my opinion, that's what I think they ought to do. They need to deport them first. And if they were good people and they didn't cause any problem, there wasn't any issues or anything like that, then their name can be put on a list. But they may die of old age before that name gets called because of how many people we're talking here. Really, Kevin? Yeah, and that doesn't surprise me, brother. It doesn't surprise me that an attorney would be ripping them off. Doesn't surprise me at all. Oh, and that reminds me, seeing the chat reminds me. It dawned on me today that comments were disabled on my videos. I don't believe I did that. I have no idea what happened there. Because I didn't shut them off. And if I did, it was by accident, and I didn't realize I did. That has been fixed. I noticed that today. I'm like, I looked at one of the live streams, and I'm like, comments are disabled? What? And got to looking, and sure enough, for like, I don't know how many videos it was. It was quite a few videos. Comments were disabled. And I'm talking the live streams. Not the chat, but the comments afterwards. And, in fact, let me double check this one right here, because it should pop up to be able to leave a comment since I'm already live. And I'm wrong. I guess I gotta go offline and then it'll pop up. But, yeah, I didn't intend to do that. My apologies for that. As far as I know, the issue has been rectified, and because that's not cool. So, when I very first started this channel, I didn't allow comments because, because society. But then as time went on, I'm like, you know what? I really don't give a damn. And I don't give a damn. I've gone back and forth with people in my comments so many times, and not so many times, it's not that like that, but I'm not like the other channels. If you leave something scathing to me, I'm not gonna delete it. It blows my mind, the people that will delete every comment they disagree with. It's like, for one, how could you possibly be such a weak human being? Two, how could you even remotely claim to be a patriot? And I know the First Amendment applies to the government, not us and each other. I know that. But nonetheless, if I'm not willing to keep up those rules in my own home, then how can I be expected to keep them up in the nation? So, I think it's very hypocritical for people to claim to be patriots, people claim to love the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and then turn around and delete every comment they disagree with on YouTube. That's mind-blowing. But anyway, I did not intend to disable the comments. As far as I know, all those videos have been fixed as far as the comments back re-enabled, and I will double check when I get done. I'm going to be cutting out here in a moment. I will double check after I cut the stream and make sure that they are indeed re-enabled. So I forgot to mention that earlier, and I intended to. So Anyway, I am gonna get out of here. I've got a doggo that's having some ear issues, I believe. So, gonna look into her, love on her, and man, do me a favor. Um. Oh, okay, Kevin. Alrighty. Do me a favor if you all don't mind, and say a few words to the father for Blue. That poor girl has dealt with this ear issue ever since she was a pup, and it's getting to the point to where the only ear stuff that I know of that helps her isn't very effective anymore. And unfortunately, I can't afford socks. I certainly can't afford to take her to the vet. So pray for her. Father's probably the best veterinarian anyway. So, but please pray for her. She's been, when they say man's best friend, absolutely correct with that girl. She is incredible. And when she's miserable, I'm miserable. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate y'all coming. I hope you have a good evening. I will be back tomorrow night. I probably won't have a Christmas show. We'll see. Probably not. I'll probably be, I don't know, maybe not doing nothing. Maybe just sitting here doing nothing. Who knows? I mean, we're not going anywhere. We're not doing anything, so. I used to be all gung-ho and not take nights off, but I'm not that way anymore. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I will speak at you all tomorrow evening. Hope you have a good night. Shalom.